Most graphic or brand designers are leaving so much money on the table by ignoring this one skill. And this one skill enabled me to double my income and work with bigger and better clients and to remove so much of the frustration that I had working as a designer previously. Now, if you've ever been on my channel, then you know probably what I'm talking about, and that is designing websites, but not only that, but also having the skill to develop them on your own using no-code tools like Webflow or Framer, and then being paid for both being a designer and a developer. Now, in this video, I'm going to share with you why I think this is probably the best skill that you can add to your toolbox this year if you're looking to grow as a designer. And I'm going to cover how big this opportunity is and some of the myths that you might have right now that's holding you back from actually pursuing it, and also how you can plan your next steps to benefit from this huge opportunity and how to build this skill so that you can grow your design business. So the first thing I want to start with is understanding the current state of the design industry. Okay, so first, take a look at this pyramid. This pyramid is basically the classic structure of almost any industry, which means that most people are at the bottom, not doing a lot of money, right? There are less people in the middle doing somewhat okay money, and there's few little people that are making a lot of money. Okay. Now, in general, we can talk about how to get you to the top of the pyramid, but I also want you to understand what's happening. There are actually two forces right now that actually affects how this pyramid looks like. And these forces are technology and the economy. So let's break them down. The first one, technology. So if you're living on this earth, that you know that over the last few years, we've had a lot of progress in technology, whether it's AI, but also in general, like with software like Canva and stuff like that. So that just makes it so much easier compared to what it used to be like 10 years ago to create graphics, whether it's for branding or for marketing, any type of graphic, okay? So this technology, on the one hand, makes some things much, much easier, okay? Which means that maybe less clients are inclined to pay for designers if they think and they have the tools and templates and whatever to do stuff on their own, but also their perceived value is decreasing for these kinds of tasks because they think, hey, I can do this on my own. So while there is less projects in the middle of the pyramid, some of these designers are being pushed to the bottom because even if there are projects for normal branding and marketing aspect, clients are valued then less. But this technology progress is also creating more complexity at some spaces, and specifically in the web design space. So in the web design space, websites are becoming actually more complex to take advantage of AI and automation and marketing and tracking everything that's happening and optimization and all that kind of stuff actually makes websites more complex. So what that means is that the projects that are at the top of the pyramid are not going to be necessarily branding or marketing projects. They're going to be web design projects, okay? Because they are just more complex and therefore they're going to cost more money. Now, the second thing is the economy, okay? And this is probably a change that's happening over a decade, right? Previously, I got started 20 years ago. I was working in advertising, and most of the budget that went through design went to branding and advertising agencies to create what's now is being called brand awareness, right? We would work on creating advertisement. We would put them on billboard. We would put them on, TV spots, and that would create brand awareness. And companies would pay millions, or like this industry is probably worth trillions if you're looking at the global economy. But what happened over the last 20 years with the advent of the internet is that a lot of businesses, actually most businesses, understood that a lot of this money is being wasted, and they'd rather spend this money on the internet because everything is trackable. You can really understand performance, right? And you can really start doing things that are working. Okay, so what that means is, again, there's less money going to just general graphic design and branding, and more money going towards stuff that you can optimize performance. And that means stuff on the internet that is how your website works, how your website converts, right? The funnels that lead the people from the ads into your website or into your e-commerce website and turn that into money. This is really where the money is going forth, and that is affecting the pyramid and how the market is looking and where the money is actually going towards in the design industry right now. So as I've just explained, this is the reason why web design over the last few years have become a key asset for any business, okay? Because they can actually measure the tangible ROI, return on investment, from their website, right? And we're not just talking about making a pretty website from a template. We're talking about websites being now a strategic part of the business, a strategic part from how people find them, how people turn from, prospects into buyers. All of this is happening on a website, which makes this so much more valuable to businesses. And the last thing is that websites right now are actually a key component in any branding project. There's not a single branding project, whether it's a new company that is just creating their brand from scratch or a company that's doing a redesign, that's not going to tie in together their rebranding or new brand project with how they're going to appear on the internet, which means a big web design project that sometimes, actually most of the times, is even bigger in scope, complexity, and price than the actual brand design project itself. So this leads to the financial upside of the opportunity in web design, because as I said, number one, websites are most time more complex than just branding or marketing project, right? So that means they will take more time. And they're also, the second thing is they're also perceived as more valuable. There's not, this is very, very frustrating for me as a designer, that most of the times clients value developers more than they value designers. This is, again, I don't think this is true, but this is the mindset of most clients. They think that, oh, developers, I don't know if this is just because of, we've got all of this tech, Mark Zuckerberg startup entrepreneur, that they think that, these are the most brilliant people, developer are the most brilliant people on the planet and they should be paid more. But whatever it is, this is people's perception, so that when they understand that they need to pay for a website development, they're already preparing themselves for paying more, rather than, when we're talking about branding or marketing or design in general, where they would a lot of times have comments like, oh, my cousin can do that in whatever, MS Word or Painter or something like this. They usually don't say, my cousin can develop this in Webflow or something like this, right? They perceive it as more complex and therefore worth more and more expensive. So if you're going to go into even websites like Upwork, which, take a look at this screenshot, they're basically ranking the hourly rate. And I'm not saying that this should be your hourly rate, but even in big marketplaces where the prices are usually lower, you can see that the prices that web developers command are higher than the ones that our graphic designers are commanding. And not only that, we're not only talking about a higher hourly rate, because as I said, these projects are more complex. So they're more hours, not only higher hourly rate, but also more hours. If you go to Awards, which is one of the biggest award-winning websites, and also a directory of a lot of the best designers and agencies that are working on the web today, you can actually sort in the directory the freelancers and agencies by their price. Now, the really interesting thing there is that if you filter by more than $30,000 per website, so they can basically show you that all of these people are charging at least $30,000 per website. There are more suppliers. There are actually basically more people charging more than $3,000. If you go there and filter, you will see that there's probably 4 times more people charging more than $30,000 than there are suppliers who are charging less than $3,000. So this is what it tells you about the web design market. Most people are charging the high prices, not most people are charging the low prices when it comes to really high quality work. And so when you're working there, obviously the project price tag is going to be higher, but also the ongoing work that comes with websites, such as helping your clients set up new funnels or optimizing their website, throughout time, like doing A/B testing, testing out different designs and different value proposition to see which one of them converts more, or doing SEO. These are ongoing services that if you're doing web design, you can sell to your clients and increase the value of each engagement to make each project much more valuable. And even think about this, even if you're working right now as a graphic designer or a brand designer with a client ongoing, let's say you're doing social media posts for them, right? Think about what is the value of a social media post compared to a new page on the website, right? One of them is going to be worth more on a monetary terms than the other one, and it's probably the new page on the website. So in general, there's a lot more money to be done on web design compared if you're talking about general graphic design, marketing design, or brand design. Now, I want to talk about a few of the myths that a lot of designers have and the reason that they're actually not even getting into this opportunity and trying to sell web design to their clients. The first one is, I am not technical. And I can totally relate to this because, again, I'm coming from a graphic design background, not a developer background. I actually don't enjoy writing code. And so I was very much aware of getting my hands dirty, right? But the truth is that with tools like Webflow or Framer that make it really, really visual and intuitive to go ahead and eventually basically you're writing code, right? But you have a UI that's much more intuitive. Once you learn how to think, you don't really have to be technical, right? You can just use your skills as a designer and just apply your creativity and then build the website that you want to build, right? And so you don't have to learn the technicality of oh, I need to use uppercase and semicolon and all of those things that are, to me at least, as a non-technical person, they look like like a nightmare and I don't want to spend my days doing this. You really don't have to do this. You can focus on your design and you can focus on your creativity when applied to building websites, but you don't really have to be technical. Now, the second thing a lot of people think about is, I don't have time to learn this, right? I'm already way too deep. I'm already busy. But the thing about this is that, honestly, if you're already working as a designer, there's not so much that you need to learn. And I actually think that learning how to be a good designer takes way more time than learning how to use a tool like Webflow or Framer. Because technical tools, at the end of the day, this is just software, right? Just like you can learn Photoshop or you can learn Figma. It doesn't take talent. It doesn't take, craft of trying and trying again or something like this. So actually the learning curve is much faster than you think. And if you're thinking that, oh, it's too late, it's already too complicated, I'm late to the game, the truth is that as time moves on, there are actually more resources to help you, whether that's videos like this or on YouTube or courses, or even inside the software itself, the way that they onboard new users and actually create AI tools inside the tool to help you learn this and understand what everything does, actually makes the learning process much, much faster. And it's more likely to take actually a lot less time than you actually think about this. Now, the next myth that hold a lot of people back is that they think they're going to have to start over from scratch. But actually, as I've mentioned, if you already have the skills as a web designer, if you're already doing a branding project, then this is not at all like starting from scratch. This is a complementary skill that is just going to help you add value to every project that you're doing. So you can take everything that you've been doing up until now and start compounding on top of it. This is completely not starting from scratch. So I want to share what I think are some of the best way to move forward with this. So assuming you already know the basics of graphic design, what really you need to know is that there are a few things on the web that are different or actually additional on top of it. Things like how web components work, things like forms and buttons, how to think about layouts in a responsive way, because unlike, a poster or a social media post, a web design is responsive and you have to learn how to think about it responsively. And there are some UX principles to cover, but actually these things are actually very, very easy to learn. So if you're already comfortable designing static images and brand identities, becoming a web designer is going to be very, very easy, okay? And there are basically two tools that you need to learn. One of them is the the design software, right? And the most common and popular software today is Figma. Now, maybe you're already using Figma for graphic design and brand design, maybe not, but it's very, very easy to whatever software you're using, even if you're using, I don't know, Illustrator or Photoshop or whatnot, Figma is very, very easy. Now, the bigger probably investment in learning is going to be the visual development tool, which is going to be either Webflow or Framer. And a lot of people don't clearly understand the difference and which one they should probably go towards. And what I tell to people as I'm thinking about this right now, okay, and these things change all the time because the tools are developing. And I want to start off by saying that they are both fantastic tools that you can build most websites on both of them, and it's going to be great. You can achieve fantastic and phenomenal results. You can build great careers, and everything I'm saying in this video is going to be true whether you're going with Webflow or you're going with Framer. But if you still need to decide, then what I would say is this. Webflow there's a little bit more learning curve because you really have to learn how to think a little bit like a developer and develop these new mental concepts. So it's a little bit, takes more time and effort to learn, but what it enables you is really the ultimate creative freedom. Really, you can do any idea that you want to do, you'll be able to execute on Webflow. Now, Framer is much more intuitive. So if you're coming from, again, graphic design or branding, I think it's going to be much, much easier for you to learn and get started with Framer. Now, I'm not saying that it's limited. Yes, with Webflow, you can do really anything, but with Framer, as I said, you can still do a lot of amazing, amazing things, and it's probably going to be easier for you to get started. So the way I would think about this is, how are you thinking about this? If you want short-term, fast onboarding, maybe Framer is the place to get started. If you're thinking about, no, I really, really want to set me up for being able to take the most advanced project, big, complex project, and achieve everything from a creative perspective, then maybe go on the Webflow. But the bottom line was still, you can take everything I'm saying in this video and still succeed in whichever one of these two that you're going to choose. And of course, you should check the link below. We have free resources for both of them here on YouTube, or our free courses. If you want to speed things up, then you can obviously take a look at our courses. And I want to finish off this video by just saying that, look, if you want to invest in the long-term career as a designer, then being multi-skilled and being flexible and being able to provide a one-stop solution for your clients is probably what you want to aim for. And building this skill, being able to both design and develop websites for your client, is the way to get there for you. And it's going to enable you to, as I've mentioned, achieve better project, charge more for them, and do much more satisfying work because nobody is butchering your idea and you're not dependent on anybody else to deliver great results for your clients. So to finish this off, think about where you can be 6 months from now if you start building this career and skill right now. You can be in a completely different place, and there's huge demands for people who are able to do that, design and develop together on both Framer and Webflow. So I really, really encourage you to get started today. I'm going to add more resources below this video, whether you do it for free here on YouTube or with us on our courses. I really hope that you do this, and your future self is definitely going to thank you for it. See you in the next video.